Zohran Mamdani is the mayor-elect. People have feelings.
They do.
Some people think this is the beginning of a bright new future, like this is dawn in America. I saw people say this is the beginning of a communist New York City, or this is the beginning of a caliphate in New York City.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
The fact that you have a Muslim immigrant of color who's a democratic socialist is like, the Republican Party has to be salivating at this because there are so many fear-mongering qualities to this guy that they can use as a poster child for the Democratic Party to scare the rest of the country that
nuance.
And again, I don't particularly worry about New York City in these issues. We'll see what happens, but
it's a nice luxury.
I think it's a little overblown. I mean, we can get to some other things that I think are fair to critique him for, but
they never do.
I don't think he's like the Antichrist or some terrible scourge on a.
But I think most of us in our politics today are not actively and like faithfully, genuinely treating our political opponents or even the people on our side very often as if they are genuine human beings with real interests at stake that might be misguided, that might be misunderstanding the situation. Variety of situations might be true, but they are human beings with fully orbed lives that are trying to figure out how to do the right thing in the community they're in.
The Democratic Party is the more left-leaning, more welcoming party for those with socialist leanings, and that's going to freak out people from Cuban heritage or Venezuelan heritage or other Latin American countries where Marxism and socialism have done terrible things. If more and more of them do move toward the Republican Party and some of the values of that party, we might see them broadly accepted as white and less turned off by some of the race baiting, dog whistling that goes on from people like Trump.
Part of what makes it possible for the French to mock Christianity is Christianity. I guarantee the Olympic organizers never in a million years considered doing a performance art that would in any way mock Islam, because they know that that would provoke perhaps a violent backlash from certain segments of Islam that they were not prepared to deal with. But they're not going to get a violent backlash from the Roman Catholic Church or from Protestants because the tolerance value is built into the Christian faith in a way it doesn't exist in others.